naked early diagnosis. Hit you with the quick release like Marino Danny dopeness. Explosive change of direction in the true essence of Reggie Bush. From JT and ZT to DVP and AVG. Terminator to a quarterback Hunter JP. Steve Ross, the boss, King Flow, and card slinging gambling genius Slick Chris Greer.
Back live again with another episode of The Pro Show. Back with your boy, JPF Scout, and my main man right here, Dr. Reggie Brown, is in the house today, guys. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button.
Yes.
We're glad to have all of you guys here today. We're going to touch, of course, on everything aqua and orange, baby. We're going to talk Dolphins. You know that's right. We got free agency coming up, Doc. We had a couple of new coaches come into the scheme. We poached a couple of coaches, I could say. So we're going to touch on that, maybe jump into a little bit of draft. We wish we had Gino stop by in the house. Maybe we talk some basketball and some hockey because things are getting hot and heavy in that area as well.
Yes, sir.
But we're definitely going to talk some Dolphins. So without further ado, let's kick it off and we'll talk the show and start it off with the Dolphin stuff. So what's up, Doc? How you been, my man?
Man, just excited, man. It's the off season, and in Dolphin world, it's the toxic off season. Everything goes. You know, you get the crazy takes.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's interesting.
Trade everybody. It's all over.
It's everywhere. You know, the free agency, and we were discussing this in the back. That, you know, every free agent that comes out is, you know, somehow slated as a potential landing spot for the Dolphins. And, you know, it's crazy, and it's a great time to be a Dolphin.
It is a great time to be a Dolphins fan. It seems we are slated to all of them. I mean, I've heard them all. Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley.
Jalen Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey. I've heard trade like for that, Jalen Ramsey. What do you think about, you know what, we didn't talk about this in the back. What do you think about the Bobby Wagner release and maybe the potential of not reuniting, but bring him into the defense and making him part of Fangio's scheme?
Well, you know, when you get a guy like that, that's a game changer.
Yep.
You know, that is an absolute game changer. You put him in front of our front four with Sealer, Wilkins, Chubb, and Phillips. Man, that is crazy. How good something like that could be. But, you know, at the same time, everybody's going to be after that guy. And, you know, we have a salary cap issue. I mean, that's not an issue, but we got to work around that. But I think the great thing about the Dolphins is, and when we talk about everybody being slated to the Dolphins, is everybody wants to come here. And everybody wants to be a part of what we're doing in Miami. And I think it says something about Chris Greer. I think it says something about Mike McDaniels and Fangio. But I also think it says something about Tua, that people want to come to Miami and play with him. I don't know if you saw Joe Poyer going to Tua party and, you know, was talking really heavily about wanting to play in Miami. I mean, Miami has become a destination spot.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe they're just partying though, and they're just like, you know, he's saying what he needs to say to be cool in the party at the moment. I don't know, because I'm not there and I have no clue what's happening. But honestly, I would be shocked like this right here. I'm gonna play this. If we end up getting Bobby Wagner or even Jordan Poyer, here, this is what would be my reaction. Okay, just real quick.
Yes.
That would be my reaction if we.
Yeah, and it's interesting because 4 years ago, we couldn't have imagined that Miami would be sitting in this position where people are trying to get here, right?
No.
And again, it's a testament to Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel, and to a degree, the owner, who has always demonstrated that he'll pay the money. And so I think we're in a really, really good spot. I don't think as a Dolphins fan, I've been this excited about an upcoming team since the Marino years. I think in the past, it's been a lot of homerism in me, and you know, you're excited because it's your team.
Same here.
But this year, I think it's real, where we're at and where we're going.
I agree. I totally agree with you. Looking forward at our current situation, I mean, obviously we got to get rid of some of the fat that's on the books
Yeah.
and maybe make some moves here and there. But after all of that is done, and we're ready for free agency, say we have 30 to 50 million dollars available at cap. What would be some of your free agent targets that would interest you on both sides of the football that you'd want to bring in?
Well, I think for me, there are two things that immediately jump out for me, and one is fixing the offensive line.
Yes.
I do not want. I can't remember a time that the offensive line has been fixed. I think
Never.
the last time was when we had Alberts and
Yep.
Incognito and the Pouncey was and
King
Jawan
Tunsil, and
James.
we had Juwan
Yes,
James on the right. Yeah,
yes, yes.
the unicorns,
And
the
that's been,
unicorn days.
10 years ago, 10 or so
Yep.
years ago since then, every year it's been, we got to fix the offensive line. And so this year, in my mind, I want to leave the offseason with saying the offensive line is fixed and we're not worried about that. And then two, I think for me, after we fix the offensive line, and these are things that I definitely want to get done in free agency, I want us to sign two offensive linemen that are plug and play. They don't have to be top tier, but they can be serviceable guys who we can plug and play and we don't have to worry about them.
Do you have any names in particular that you really like?
Man, we one of the things that we have to do is really be cognizant of spending Stephen Ross's money. You know what I mean? Like
It's true.
it's so easy to say,
It
"Hey,
is.
man, go out and get this guy. Go out and get this guy." Obviously, Jawan, Orlando Brown is out
Oh
there.
yeah.
Juan Taylor, Rodney Hudson, all of those guys. But Hudson, LeJuan, coming from Tennessee, I think he would be a huge pickup for us. If I just had to say, I would start with LeJuan and say, let's plug and play him. Veteran, knows what he's doing, will certainly help everybody on the team. That would be my guy.
You're talking about Jawan Taylor?
Yes.
Yep.
But again, from Tennessee.
Oh, okay. From Tennessee. I thought you were talking about the Florida former Florida
No,
right
LeJuan Taylor from Tennessee.
DeJuan Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, how much is he going to cost us?
I don't know.
Spending Stephen Ross money is very easy to do, and we got to think of the salary cap. But the good thing about our team is there are guys out there who we can get. George Fant. What's the boy at the Jets? McGovern, Jason Kelsey.
Yeah.
Just coming up, playing in the Super Bowl. Maybe putting him at center and moving Connor to guard, which I don't like, but it's an option.
What do you think about Garrett Bradbury and doing the same thing, making him play center, kicking Connor over to left guard? I've been wanting to do this now for 3 years. Everyone tells me, no, don't do it because we have a top 5 center. Man, we could have the best line in the whole league if you do that. You never know. So sometimes you just got to take a chance. What about the guard Solomatu from the Eagles, or like an Ethan Posick, or Dalton Reisner?
Yeah, Reisner is a name that I've thought about too, because again, you just want a KG vet who you're not going to have to worry about. Maybe he gives up 2 to 3 sacks, and but he's a solid professional.
Right.
What we've been doing is, going back to Jesse Davis and all of these people,
right.
That they've been such a question mark, and it's always been, damn, I just want to leave the offseason with our offensive line fixed. And then I think the next thing that we have to address is the linebacker. But I do think that linebacker is something that we can address through the draft and a KG vet again.
Yeah.
So I think, but again, with the team being constructed the way it is, we have so many options of what we can do because we do have so many things in place.
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah, just go to the comment section real quick. We have some guys in here. Ender, good morning, man.
What up, Ender?
Justin and Reggie, all Dolphins fans, what's up? Good morning, you guys. Stetson O, thanks for joining us. We love all of you guys here, and we'll answer your comments. If you have any questions for Doctor, he's here to answer them right now. Yeah, I mean, think about what you're saying going forward. The free agency would be huge for us. I'm with you. I want to fix the offensive line first and foremost. I have for forever. What do you think about the Mike McClinchy thing? Do you think it's as big as a prize for as everybody thinks, makes it out to be? Like Mike McDaniels wants Mike McClinchy, that's his target. Do you think that's a real possibility?
I mean, players like to play for coaches that they know, especially when you get to this, this stage in his career, to go with somebody where, there's a change in cities, but he doesn't have to learn a whole new offense. And, the coach is going to give him the veteran days off and, all of those things that come with knowing a coach and a coach knowing you. So, again, I think for us, it's really price point, right?
Right.
Of what makes sense, because what we want to do, we're in this window, right, of win now, but it's the window and then it's the sustainability of the window.
Yeah, afterwards.
So not just wanting to win now, but where does this window go 4 years from now, 5 years from now? And as you look at these NFL contracts, we tend to want to say, we can just restructure and kick it down the road. Well,
kick the can down the road, yeah.
You're going to have to pay the piper.
That's right.
And so I think, the organization has done a really good job with handling salary cap situations, but I just think that we're in a perfect position. You find $50 million in cap space, and then you make smart decisions with some veteran guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you touch a little bit, just real quick, on the team building process and how you would basically put it in line? Like, do you want to win? Like, when the players do you want to win through the draft, or do you want to win via free agency?
Well, so I think good teams value both, right? It's developing players so that salary cap wise, they're still on rookie contract, right?
Yes.
And then having guys like a Cheetah, like a Terran Armstead to solidify you and help take you to the next level.
Yes,
and so I think we've done that. You look at the situation that we find ourselves in. I mean, we have Christian Wilkins, Javon Holland, Jalen Waddle, Zach Sealer, and Tua, 5 guys who we have drafted and developed and have helped us with the salary cap. But just imagine 3 years from now, it's going to cause us 2 years from now, we're going to have to make some very serious decisions with those 4 or 5 guys, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And so what we have to do is have continue to feed the pipeline of rookies, but then having guys to come in. Cheetah takes us over the top. Terran Armstead solidifies that left. We don't have to tackle or we don't have to worry about it. And so it's really being able to do both to be a successful organization. And so I'm looking forward to it. But, I mean, we just touched on it. Jalen Waddle, Christian Wilkins, Javon Holland, all having, and Jalen Phillips, all having to get paid at the same time.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you're going to have to do some master work on the back end of the books here to get this thing figured out and done right. Out of all those names you just named right there, I don't see no way in the world you just can't keep them all. Now, can we win before we have to get rid of maybe 1 or 2 of them? I don't know. We'll find out, but I think we got to put it together.
So I think that the turnover in the NFL, it's such that there's possibly ways, and I don't want to get too far in these woods, but when they get paid, will Terran Armstead, what is his contract? Is he someone that we're saying, okay, we're going to take the cap hit and let him go because now he's up in age and we just can't afford to pay this guy that much? Right. What do we do with Chubb in 2 years? Has he proven that he deserved it? And we keep them, so there's so many different variables. What helps those variables is drafting well and having guys who can step in and say, we can lose. And I'll just throw out a name, Christian Wilkins, which I would hate for us to lose. But let's say next year we drafted the lineman and he comes in and we develop him and he can step in and take a Christian Wilkins spot. And now we lose Christian because we just can't pay them all, as you said. So really drafting well helps these. We were in the space last night. I mean, you could possibly right now get for Christian Wilkins a first, a third, and a fifth for him. Is that something that you consider?
I would consider that, but if somebody came and blew my socks off with like, yo, I'll give you a first and a second right now for Christian, you know what? I love you to death. Love you to death, Christian. I want you to stay a Dolphin. But for a first and a second, I might be able to find two of you.
Man, I that's one of them things where you say, I hope nobody don't offer us that because I would hate to lose that. But you got to take that deal.
Yeah, you'd have to take it. Because you need and we have no draft assets in that range right now. It's a perfect scenario. I mean, do I want that to happen? Hell no. I want him to get his bag and I want him to stay in aqua and orange. But sometimes things just happen and things go different ways and no one can tell you what's going to happen next week. I mean, you can't. No one can. But, it's just what happens with this business. But if you see this going forward the way I do and us getting these books together, is there a possible world we live in to where we could stack up some of these holes we have on the line now and then go into the draft being able to take best player available at every pick? Do you see that as a likely scenario?
I do. I do. And that is your best hope as an organization. I think whenever we've reached for players, we're not very good. We reached for Iguanagni. That was a reach. We reached for Austin Jackson. I think when we get that Jalen Phillips draft, he was the best player available. We took him. Javon Holland was the best player in that second round. We took him. And so I've been thinking about this a lot. One is you shore the offensive line up so you don't go in the draft trying to fill a need and then you don't get the right person, right?
Yeah, stop trying to fill a need out of necessity. Just take the best player available, and when it comes down to it and you may have to make some moves, put them on the chopping block, get what you can. That's the only
let me ask you this. Not counting the offensive line, what position is your most position of need? Is it cornerback, running back, linebacker?
Man, you know what? I've been going back and forth on this one. A lot of people will be like, it's running back because we have no running backs on the roster. It's not running back. It's besides the offensive line, because that's the most glaring need. Dude, it's the linebackers. It's dead set linebackers for me. It's worrisome. I'm worried about it because of what we have back there right now is not enough. Yeah. You need a veteran. And if not two veterans, and then let's put some nice stud linebackers on back of that and bring them along slowly would be the best I could see. But yes, linebackers.
Do you see which linebackers do you see being with us this year that were with us last year? Like, do you see Baker being with us? Do you see Roberts still being? Do you still see Van Ginkel, or do you see all of them being gone?
I see. In my world, I see you bringing back Tyndall, and that's it.
Oh,
and if you're gonna bring back Jerome Baker, you're gonna be like, listen, you're a situational pass rusher now. You're gonna come out there on third downs, and you're gonna go get the quarterback. I might even bring you out on some second downs and have you go get after the quarterback and fourth downs, short yardage situations. But I would make him a situational pass rusher from now on here going forward, and I would get two thumpers to put back there that can cover, that are complete linebackers, meaning they can cover and they can tackle. If you can't tackle and you can't play in traffic, you can't play in this defense, and that's how I see it. But I would consider keeping Baker, but I'd also consider moving him. If the right price came along, someone offers me a third or a fourth round pick, I'll be like, thank you, Jerome. We really appreciate you here in Miami. Loved everything you've done for the community and for the team, and best wishes for you going forward. And I take my picks and move on with them.
I tend to agree with you. I just think that one of the things that they will do, and I don't know who that guy is it? I guess it starts with who does Fangio think can play in his defense. One of them will be back. I don't know if it's Roberts or Landon or Baker, Van Ginkel. I don't think that you just start over from scratch. So somebody's going to have to be,
What if
somebody.
you go and add like a TJ Edwards and a Kaiser White
Ooh.
to this mix, and you've got both, and then now you can just go add a rookie, and you can use the rookie.
You can draft somebody.
Yeah, you can draft them. And
linebacker, I think, is the position where it's not as hard to learn in the NFL. Go find the football, right?
Exactly. I think it's something it's almost like the running back position, if you agree. Like you can come in and do it, right? Or like pass rusher. You're like, listen, go get the quarterback. There's not a lot to think about here.
What do you think about with all of these people that you mentioned the running backs earlier? Where is your price point? I mean, when you think about Kareem Hunt, Saquon, Josh Jacobs, I mean, the boy out in Dallas.
Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard. I mean, you got some pretty good running backs.
Damn, they're good.
Where is your price point? Saying, is it $6 million a year, $7 million? If you could get Kareem Hunt for $5 million, $6 million,
God, yes.
Where's your price point?
You're talking my language right there. Like anything under 10 million, like 9.
That much?
Yep, 8. Like I'm okay with, depending on who it is. If you're like, hey, we got Saquon for $8 million annually, bro, that's a home run. That's my opinion. Like if you can get Jacobs for 9, 10, I'm with it. But I just don't want to overpay and see us get caught in a situation. It's funny you bring up running backs. And as far as it goes with running backs in the draft, and as far as the Dolphins drafting them and our history of drafting running backs, it's not good. Chris Greer doesn't go all in for the running back like that. And you know what? In this draft, I can actually see why. The running backs are so damn deep in this draft right now. Like I even scouted a kid who played with my boy Aiden Eberhardt at Wyoming. His name is Xavier Valade. And I'll be honest with you, scored really high on my scorecard, and I keep finding them. And I'm finding these guys that are deep in the draft that might not even be drafted. It shows me that you can just go get an undrafted free agent and probably get the same production you're going to get out of that guy as you would out of the second-round pick. So I'll be honest with you, I'm starting to lean to like maybe not drafting a running back at all and just go stack that line of scrimmage in front of Tua, dog. Just stack it. And next thing you know, maybe we'll get what we want. But there's numerous different ways to skin a cat. So I can't tell somebody you're wrong if you want to back, because I do too. I just don't want to overpay for it.
Yeah, that's why. Two things. One is I think the running back market is not going to be high. No one in the NFL is paying. Saquon is a generational back if he's healthy.
Yes.
And the most he's going to get in my mind is $12 million. I mean,
I agree, dude. I totally agree with you.
And with that being said, then that reduces Josh Jacob Pollard, down substantially.
$8 million, like 7.
So
yes, I
could see a scenario where I think right now the projection for Josh Jacobs is $10 million. And I've heard with Kareem Hunt it's somewhere between 5 to 7. Sign me up for that. That's a
bargain. Yeah, that's a bargain. You'll save yourself some money, and you'll probably get just as good as production.
And you draft a rookie.
Yes.
And you draft one. And
so and bring back maybe like a Mostert maybe even as well.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes. So speaking of, if you can only bring back one of them, who is it? Mostert or Wilson?
Oh, damn. I'm bringing back Mostert all day.
All day,
Brady. Because he hits the hole when the speed needs it. When he has to have a speed run, he accelerates through the hole. When he has to wait and have patience, he does that. But guess what? My boy Xavier Valade does the same damn thing, and he's going to be undrafted. When you see talent like this sitting there with your eyes, and I see it, I put a check mark and an asterisk next to the dude's name. I'm like, all right, cool. This is in my back pocket, especially as a GM. I'm putting these dudes in my back pocket all day long. Like, hey, I can count on that being there, either 7th round or I'll call you up right after the draft and you'll be my first UDFA. And
Yeah.
those are the things I look for. And then when I team build like that, then I want to stack the line. If we could do something like that and go in best player available, sky's the limit for this team.
Yeah, I think Mostert just fits the zone. He totally understands it. You know, you would want him to be obviously more healthy, but in terms of when he got carries this previous, I mean, what did he have? 800 yards rushing?
Yeah.
I mean, he could have easily been 1,000-yard
back.
I mean, he just totally gets it. You know, you want to see a little bit more in the passing game with him, and I think that we didn't do a good job of using his speed in the pass game, man.
No.
I don't know if we ever threw him a screen.
I was just gonna say, when's the last time you seen the Dolphins run a screenplay, dude? Like
with him,
they don't.
You know what I mean?
Anyone, they don't run screens at all, and I'm like,
yeah. I mean,
I think that's got a lot to do with the offensive line, though. They're not all cohesionally like played together that well to know like, hey, this is the exact break we need and the timing on your screens. Screens are, you played offense. It's selling it. It's timing. It's all about those things right there. If you don't sell it, the screen passes will not be effective.
Yes. So the next question, let me ask you this. Considering all of the injuries that we've had in the secondary, right? So Brandon Jones, if he comes back, is coming back from injury. Nick Needham, Trill, everybody's coming back from injury. What do you do with that?
Honestly, what I do with that is I just keep chopping wood. And what I mean by that is I grab me another veteran, if not two of them, and I would seriously consider bringing back Elijah Campbell. If you don't bring back Elijah Campbell, you're doing yourself a big disservice because he can play multiple positions and he can play gunner and special teams. Then I would double up in the draft any which way I could. If I have to trade back to gain assets, I'm getting at least one corner, especially in this draft, bro, because they're stacked. I'm getting at least one corner and I'm getting at least one safety.
Yeah, I just wonder. I know a lot of Dolphins are saying, Nick is coming back and Trill is coming back and Brandon is coming back, man. But typically, to get back to yourself, it takes about a year. Yeah, it takes time. Yeah. And so I'm really worried about that secondary room because I think prior to the injuries, we were going to be a good secondary, and then you just get hit. And, it just, you end up with what we had.
Yeah, it derailed our whole season last year. Like if the secondary would have been healthier, I think the defense would have been 10 times better, you guys. Like you got to have guys out there that are, once again, we're going back to this thing that goes to our quarterback. Your best ability is your availability. I need you out there, dog. I need you running around. I need you making plays. I need you at least getting in the damn way. Like you have to get out there and I need you, You know what I'm saying? If you can play, I need you. I don't care, dude, if you've got a stubbed finger, put some tape on it, get out there. I need you. And that's what it's going to come down to is who's going to want to play harder, and I'm really worried about the injury situation like you just touched on. It's something that we need to think about. And the way you do it is by putting more depth behind depth. I mean, you could get some depth in this draft that's like, it's all the way down to the bottom of it, and it's going to help us considerably.
Yeah, we got to find another Katie Kohu in there.
Exactly. Let me ask you a question here. Out of all the free agents we have that are our free agents coming back, which ones would you really, really be like, no, we have to bring this dude back no matter what? Just give me one.
So Mostert
is your guy? I like
it. I just think that his understanding of the zone run and being, with limiting. I mean, you think about this. We had the least rushes in the league. We didn't run the ball at all. And if we don't go out and sign one of these running backs, right? And that would change. It's situational. So if we sign Kareem Hunt or Pollard, then okay, then Mostert is not one of the guys. But seeing as though Chris Greer doesn't like to spend a lot of money on running backs, which I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to do exactly what you said. He's going to try to find some guys in the draft and just fill that room. Then to me, Mostert is the free agent we got to bring back the most.
Right.
Who would you say?
Out of all those guys, man, I know there's a lot of them up there that I've had my eye, like, we got to. I can't get away from it. We want to fix the line. We need to bring back a little bit of continuity. I want the punter to come back more than anything. Morstead.
Well, let me just say this. That goes without saying. That
Morstead has to come back.
Yeah. I don't even count that.
That's my first one. But if I had to put one right underneath it, like a 1A, it's got to be Brandon Shell. It has to be. And the reason why is because it adds us that potential depth that if you're able to bring in someone like a Dalton Reisner and he's like, I can play right tackle. They can battle it out over there. And then Austin Jackson, you can just go wherever you go, either to the left side to play swing or backup left guard or something. That's fine with me. I would let Eichenberg and Austin Jackson battle it out for somewhere down there on the back end. But I want to stack that front end in front of Tua. You want like the running game. We were just talking about the running game. Let's touch on this real quick. Before we get into that, let's handle a little bit of business. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
You got to do that.
Watching the Pros Show live with JPF Scout and your boy, Doc Reggie Brown. Don't you forget to tell a friend, tell another friend. And while I'm at it real quick, if you're after great Dolphins content and you're thirsty, man, I'm real thirsty. Let me get that content. And you want that aqua and orange in your life, don't forget to go check out dolphinsthirsty.com. Great quizzes. All the draft stuff that I'm doing is going to be on his website. Player breakdowns, SRS scorecards, the organic write-ups, everything he has on there. Trivia, quizzes, great stuff. Go check that out. So back to what we were talking about. Now, to break this thing down, I mean, let's see. If we're going to get the free agents we want, that's what we were talking about, right? Free agents, running backs, right?
Yeah.
We have to run the ball better, you guys. Like, Reggie's right. We didn't run the football enough. We didn't try to run the football enough. We needed to do a little bit more with it. I think when it comes down to it, you look at the ineffectiveness of the offensive line to have cohesion and work together. It probably has a lot to do with it. So that being said, the tight ends not being able to block at the line of scrimmage the way you need them to, the wide receivers not blocking downfield the way they need to. I think it all has a lot to do and rolled into one. They have to get this thing figured out.
Yeah, I think it's such a smorgasbord of reasons, right? I think that one, our head coach got enamored with the toys that he had with Tua and Cheetah and Waddle, and like these guys are open every single play. Let's just keep throwing it to them. And then, like you said, the offensive line and the continuity of it. But which is why self-scouting this year is really important. I think Mike McDaniels is a very cerebral guy. He's going to go back. He's going to self-scout himself and look at this and say, damn, there were many, many missed opportunities. I mean, there were, I think we had 5 games where Mostert had over 100 yards rushing. And then you look at that and you say against, what was it, San Francisco or San Diego, we only ran the ball 9 times or something like that. And, you know, in some games he would only have 4 or 5 carries and that kind of thing. And so I think that the Dolphins really going back and self-scouting themselves and seeing, I think he's just going to get better as a play caller, because we forget that this was really his first year calling plays. And even though in San Francisco he was the, quote, play caller, everybody knows that Cal called the plays and he interjected. This was really his first full year of doing it 100% of the time. And there's a learning curve, and that's just a fact. So I think he'll get better at it.
I think you're right. I think he's going to get 10 times better at it. I think the sky's the limit with the play calling ability from him. He'll get better. Comment section real quick. Howdy, gents. JM Santos, good morning, man. Thanks for joining us today. Yeah, dude, what do you think about something like you're talking right now, man? If they was to interject something like a good back, a back that's known like a Jacobs, a Barkley, a Hunt, or whatever back there. And even if they didn't, and they added Mostert back, what would you think about adding someone like that Tajay Spears out of Tulane to put with something like that, man?
Yeah, Tajay Spears. I'm high on that kid. I agree with you that we have to. To me, it's kind of the thing of we're in this window, right? A 2 to 3 year window. So in my mind, we do exactly what you said. We put in. We take a chance on Kareem Hunt or Pollard, but you give them a 2 year team friendly deal, and you bring a rookie along who you think can be really, really good and get them going. So there's a
Absolutely.
lot of options that we have because we do have, in my mind, we're 3 or 4 players away. So we're not like in this situation where we got to totally revamp the team.
Right.
And so, that's kind of how we got to look at it. And I think that if we could get one of those guys at a price point, veterans that are really good, if Josh Jacobs I don't want to go. The closer you start pushing up the 10, closer you push to the 10 million, the more we get into these situations, right?
Right.
Uh,
Right. Absolutely.
but because we still got to get a linebacker, we still got to get the offensive line, we still got to get the cornerback. So you don't want to start, making these bad decisions. And so there is a price point for whoever that we go after. There's a price point for the 2 offensive linemen. There's a price point. You don't want to get. I don't think we need to, unless it's Tremaine Edwards.
Tremaine Edmonds.
Tremaine Edmonds,
Mm-hmm.
or someone like that, where all of a sudden you like, damn, we got to throw him the bag.
Right.
I mean, that's all. You can't let him go. But to me, we're in a really, really good situation to be able to make some things happen. And again, I only think it's 4 or 5 guys, man.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, real quick, before we touch on some more coach talk? What do you think about up front on the defense, though, but particularly the nose tackle one tech position? I think we're a little thin right there in this defense, particularly. I think you're missing that one guy that you need. There are a couple of free agents that are sitting out there, like a former Dolphin Jordan Phillips. He's not particularly a nose. But what about a Deron Payne or like a Zach Allen? What do you think about those two?
Yeah, I've been Raekwon. I have my questions about him health wise, and
Same.
does he want to? We keep waiting on the breakout year for him, and we're not getting it. And so,
Nope.
what do we do with him? I think that, and then I've been listening to some stuff about Fangio and that defense. What do we? Well, before I answer that. What do you see? More of the hybrid, more of the 3-4, or more of 4-3?
I see. Damn it, that's a good question, but I see more hybrid. I see him doing a lot more sub packages than a lot of people think. Yes, his base defense is obviously the 3-4, and he will play a 4-3 as well. But he plays a lot of different packages and sub packages. So, in my opinion, if you want this defense to work, you need linebackers that fit his role and can tackle and cover. But you also need a rover robber and somebody who literally, when you throw it to this guy or anywhere near the guy, he's either going to bat it down or intercept it.
Yeah. Because the reason why I asked is because I don't know how he does it, how he constructs it, but to me, Phillips, Seiler, Wilkins, and Chubb need to be on the field
at all times.
Yes.
Yes, that's how
and
I see it too.
Whatever you have to do to get us to that point, that's what you do.
Yep.
And I know that it's some of the beef that you would want on the D line, you suffer a little bit in that scenario, but the dog and everybody that you just talked about, I think will cover up the size that we might be lacking there.
Right.
And plus, when you got a thumper at middle linebacker too, that takes away that as well. So
That would help. Like having a
yes,
Bobby Wagner or something like that back
yes,
there. Oh
yes,
my,
yes.
that would do it.
And one more question before you get into the coaches. What do you make of the Byron Jones talk that some people say, well, let's bring him back?
Oh man, I don't know why would make you want to bring dude back other than the fact that we're tied money to the dude. He didn't come back and play for us last year when we needed him. I don't like it. I don't think we should. I don't think we should entertain bringing people back who aren't Mike McDaniel guys. That's my opinion.
I agree with you. And so the only way that I could think about him coming back is if he were and everybody in that locker room understood that he was really, really hurt and there was nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that scenario playing out to where everybody understood, hey, he's hurt, he couldn't play. Let's give him another chance. And I could see that happening. But other than that, I don't want to mess with it. I'd like to go ahead and cut bait with that as soon as we can. In fact, that's like one of the first moves I would make. And
designate him as a June 1st cut.
Yes. In fact, the show should be getting on the road here any day here. So I'm sure we'll see something happen down the line. I know the Dolphins. I think they'll make some sort of a splashy move. I just wouldn't expect the world. But
what is it? When is the free agent officially start? March what?
March 12th or 13th, I want to say something like that.
Can you believe it, man? This thing is rolling along,
quick.
man.
It's going so fast. Like we're literally, I think, 63 days away from the NFL draft. By the time the NFL draft comes, though, we'll have, at least here digging in the trenches and me, I'll have 250 plus prospects scouted already. You can catch them all live on dolphinsthirsty.com. All the write-ups, all the organic material, all the SRS scorecards. Dolphins Thirsty will have it all. I'm a big draft guy, so I kind of pounded into the table a little bit. I love the draft. It's like Christmas for me, even building up the anticipation, all the players. Even for them, like it's like for the athletes themselves, like they're changing their whole lives. Like they're like having a dream come true for them that they've been thinking about since they were a child. So like all this stuff rolls into my mind while I'm scouting them, while I'm watching them. It's kind of cool. I really like it. I enjoy the process thoroughly. It's something I would do for the rest of my life. It's just great. Good. I love the draft, man. It's so fun.
Let's talk about the coaching staff, man. What do you think?
Let's do that. You know what? Here, let's talk about this guy real quick. This is the new hire that they made that I find very sneaky, very ringer-esque type of hire. Nobody knows about him very much. He's very, hasn't been talked about a lot now. But I bet you throughout the league, people know his name and know who he is. The Kenny Baker, I think it was the Western Kentucky assistant coach down there. That's who they picked up. What do you think about this guy?
I think that if the Dolphins picked him, I think that with Mike McDaniel and how he thinks about football, right? Mm-hmm. I imagine that this is one of his deals, or two, it's one of Fangio's deal where because I think Fangio is really being given like the keys to the defensive call.
I think so. I think you're onto it right there, boss.
And if Fangio says this is a guy, and you don't know backstories with guys, I mean, this is a relatively, at least in my mind, unknown.
Yes.
And so to me,
mine too.
Fangio must have been grooming this guy, getting him ready, talking to him, met him, something to make him say, I want this kid right here.
That's right.
So I'm interested to see, hear and see why they brought him in. And then, what does he do? You look at our defensive line room and you got a younger guys. So I wonder if him being a younger guy is, they need somebody to relate to them and, really get it and get it going, all of those. But, again, in Mike McDaniel and Fangio, we trust. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And
I trust these guys.
Right strings.
Yep. Then we have a comment here. JM Sento says the free agency period begins March 15th. The 23 season begins. So that's the new league year, I'd imagine. Daniel Meehan, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon to you, too. Thanks for joining us here today. Absolutely. Tell a friend, tell another friend. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. We're growing here steadily. We will be here every weekend, same time, same bat channel, same bat hour. Eventually, we'll talk some more sports and stuff, but we're big Dolphins fans, so we always are going to bring that passion to you about our team. We love the Dolphins, and we love talking about the Dolphins. I think the coaching staff is being built really nice. It's being put together the right way. If you can tell, I think they're doing things from familiarity, not from like, hey, this dude's got the best defense or the best offense or the best statistical winning record. None of that. They're doing it like, hey, I know this guy. I know what he does. I know what he can bring us, and I know what he can do for us. And they're bringing him in. So I don't want to say it's like a friend hire, but it's like a friend hire that like when you date, when you're young before you're married and you had a chick and you had friends with benefits. It's like that girlfriend. You're like, oh, but she buy me a couple things. Maybe once in a while we go out to dinner. You know what I'm saying? So it's a friends with benefits deal, but you're getting the best part of the deal. You know what I'm saying?
Friends with benefits.
Yeah, it's gonna bring you the good. It's gonna bring you the good. It's gonna bring you the good part of football too. You know, like I think they're building it nice.
You think about the heel saying, you know.
That was a great one, dude.
Yeah, you know, he's played in Miami, coached in Miami.
Yes.
Familiar, you know, knows the climate and the culture here. And so I think a really, really good hire as well.
Absolutely.
When you talk about building a coaching staff and getting people in. And again, I think that Fangio, as I understand it, has, I don't want to say full autonomy because obviously the head coach is the final say, but he's been given a lot of leeway to make these decisions. And, you know, I listened to his press conference and, you know, his sabbatical, if you will, and what he did. And I think, I think our defense is going to be very, very good next year.
So
again, providing that we're able to fill some holes that we have.
Right. Daniel comments, JM Santos, don't expect much. It's going to be Walmart shopping this year. You might be right, bro. We might be bargain bin shopping. And I'll tell you what, if they're bargain bin shopping, there's some good bargain bin players out there that you can get on some low-key deals right now.
It will be. However, I think that, you know, we have to look at there's the free agent salary cap. Spotrac said that we have a floor of 30 million that we could easily get to.
Yep, I seen it.
And then we can also get up to as much as 80 something worth of if we needed to.
Yeah.
And so I think that philosophy and who drops in your lap.
There you go. There you go.
We'll make some decisions. I mean, I couldn't imagine this year that Tremaine Edmonds may be someone who drops in your lap.
Oh my God, I couldn't even see it. What if they were able to pull off Tremaine Edmonds and got Jordan Poyer?
Woo! I mean, who could imagine something like that? You know, Bobby Wagner. You know, how much are you willing to pay for Bobby Wagner? You know, a KG vet. I mean, what's the number? You know,
honestly, I would pay anywhere, man, like 9, 7, something like that mil. But if they got any of like the Tremaine Edmonds and the Poyer, if they ended up with those, this would be again what I would be like. Oh my God, no way! If they ended up with those dudes, I would be like, no way! Like that's a huge pickup, but I doubt it happened. But that would be awesome, man. I'd be all for it.
Yeah.
They need to go do something splashy like that. I don't see it happening either. I kind of agree with Daniel a little bit.
I agree with him.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to be doing a little bit of bargain deal shopping, but at the same time, I don't not like that. That's fine, but just make sure you get the right guy. Like when I mean the right guy, when you're talking bargain bin shopping, to me, we're talking like, you know, like Bobby Okereke, Nolan Pratt, Even the Kazir White is a bargain bin player. It's not like he's going to be commanding TJ Edwards money. Another bargain bin player, the Rashard Perry, the running back. Another bargain binner is, you could say, maybe even Miles Sanders, the running back for the Eagles. Like guys like that aren't going to command this huge salary cap. They'll command, hey, I need $5 million annually. I'm okay with that, and they'll sign the deal. Give them 2 years, $10 million, 2 years, 11 and a half, whatever it's got to be to make it right. The running back market is, I think, the part where you really need to play it carefully, and it's because it's the running backs. These guys are hurt, all the time.
Yeah, and it's in my mind, we're able to go and get 4 to 5 players between the $5 and the $7 million.
Absolutely, yes. And you can do this too.
Yes. If we can get 2 offensive linemen, a guard and a tackle between in the $5 to $7 million range, pick up a DB within the $5 to $7 million range, pick up, at least one linebacker in that 5 to 7 range. I think we cooking, man. I think we could.
I think so. I think you were kind of hitting on something too with the defense earlier when you were talking about, what kind of packages do you think we'll be in mostly? Do you think we'll need that beef up front? Like I'm talking about bringing in a true one tech. You might be right. Maybe we'd be okay playing a little bit more of that 4 down linemen and having Wilkins and Sealer obviously is key, playing them 2 together. But, they can't play every damn snap. So what's your backup situation kind of look like? I mean, I know we got Agba coming back off of an injury again. See, we got more injury stuff we got to deal with. Off of an injury, off of a torn labrum. Then you got Raekwon Davis.
Let's before you go, what about that? What about Agba, man? What's up with that?
It's really crazy because it's a touch and feel thing to where, like, I didn't want to give him the bag when we gave him the bag. I think they kind of gave him the bag because, again, they out of necessity, a need out of necessity. I felt they kind of did that. I felt they should have moved on when they did because he's a one-trick pony. Yes, he bats down passes at the line of scrimmage. Yes, he can get after the quarterback, but he's more of a bull rush player more than a finesse type of guy. Would I be opposed to keeping him and him flourishing in this defense? No, but I need you to actually be there and be present. Once again, your best ability is your availability. I don't need you to disappear in the middle of the season or toward the end of the season, especially in December. When I need you, I don't need you to play Casper the Friendly Ghost, and that's what scares me with Agba.
Yeah, I mean, some guys like family. Agba is family, but at $17 million a year,
oh
man.
My God, dude! I could have 3 people that could do what he can do for that price.
I can't
do it. You got to. We have to come to this dude and be like, listen, can you restructure your contract for the team? We need you to do this for us, and for yourself if you ever want a chance at sniffing a Super Bowl again, because we need this. We need cap flexibility. You have to go to these guys who are on your team that are true leaders: Xavier Howard, Tyreek Hill, Teron Armstead, Chubb, and you have to be like, listen, I need some leeway. Do you guys want to get to the promised land? I need cap.
I mean, he's somebody to me that's we have to say, we're going to trade you and we're going to eat whatever salary we have to eat.
There you go. Trade him to somebody and be like, listen, we'll pay half the salary because you got to get it off the books, bro.
Yeah.
It has to come off.
Yeah.
It's too much for what we're getting. Just think about what we got last year, and now we're going to pay 17 for what? He gave us a sack?
Yeah.
I need more than that. Like, his play on the field wasn't that bad, but the film's got to get better. We need you to be there. Like, he got hurt, and it really hurt his game. As soon as players get hurt, man, they decline for sure. Unless they're ultra human beast. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like him. He's family. I'm just the only way we keep him is, in my mind, he restructures that deal, and it's really team friendly.
Very team friendly.
If he does restructure it and it's real team friendly, then he does have a skill set. He does. He got a skill set
He does. He's an edge setter and a block beater.
Yeah.
Like you can use him in certain ways to do things. Like he's great against the run as well. I'm not opposed to using the guy. I just need to make sure that he's ready to roll 100% because we can't be putting 17 million and getting a sack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I need more production out of you.
Yeah. We got.
Yeah, man. That's we're getting down to the end of the time here. We're running up on the hour. Do you have any closing notes or final thoughts before we?
Hey man, it's that time of year. I've decided a couple of things. One, this offseason, I'm not discussing any tour trades with anybody. I'm not having any tour conversations at all. That's our quarterback.
If you're in spaces, someone's gonna bring it up. I got in one just the other day, and dudes is like, "Man, he can't make plays off script. Man, he can't make plays out of the pocket." I'm like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Do you watch my show at all? Did you watch the opening show of this show right here? He makes an off script play. Do you think that was like in the playbook? No, that's what you call off script." Man, I'm telling you, guys need to go look at this stuff. He can do it. The more you doubt this kid, the more you're throwing fuel on the fire. So I like this, man. I like this kind of party.
And it's just the part that, like, people say off script, and people say, he's not running the ball. But to me, when you look at his pocket presence and the way that he does not take sacks, his ability. It's Marino-esque where, yes, he doesn't run, but his ability to step up, to slide to the left, to back up, those things where it's not a lot of movement, but you don't take sacks. And all of those things, it's so mid when these wannabe gurus say something.
Armchair quarterbacks.
Man, it is like, jargon. Are you watching the same game, man?
I don't think they are, bro. I think they're looking at stats. In fact, I think some people look at the Dolphins and they just go clearly off the win-loss record and the stats, and they're not looking at all that film, all that good stuff that's out there. Like, do you remember that pass during the season where he felt the pressure coming from his right, and he kind of just on 1 foot leaned back and slung it to the sideline, and it was the route where Tyreek, it was spot. And Tyreek had to be to that spot anyway. And then Tyreek caught the ball on the sideline. That's what I call improv. That's what I call acting off script. He didn't want to do that, but that's where the ball had to go right then and there because the ball had to come out of his hand. I mean, he did it. He's done it numerous times.
And his anticipation is amazing. Key.
You remember the one play in, what was that? I think it was the Chicago game where he pump faked, ran out of his pocket to his left, scrambled and threw the touchdown pass to Smythe. That's anticipation. That's acting off script. He does it all the time. Y'all just ain't paying attention, man. Like, dude, he does it a lot. Like, he's gonna be good one day. And I mean, we can't wait forever on the kid. I'm down to win with whoever, but I want to see this kid be successful. I don't even, I want it to be part of the Dolphins, but if it's not, then so be it. Damn it.
Right.
You know what, you guys? We had a great show. We enjoyed all the time with you guys today. We're gonna wrap it up. Don't forget to tune in, obviously, to DolphinsThirsty.com for all this live great action and content. We will be up here again next week, the Pro Show, same time, same bat channel. Awesome, you guys. Thank you guys all for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
First kick, I snap into action. When I'm digging in the trenches, get dominated off the line of scrimmage. Read and react quick to make it early diagnosis. Hit you with the quick release like Marino Danny dopeness. Explosive change of direction in the true essence of Reggie Bush. From JT and ZT to DVP and AVG. Terminator to a quarterback, Hunter JP. Steve Ross, the boss, King Flow, and card slinging, gambling genius, Slick Chris Greer.
I love this shit.